It's a bright-ass white screen. I'm wearing my spooky Freddy Krueger sweater for this. I don't know how long this game will take. Oh, there's no audio, so get ready for the sound of my luscious voice. The sound of our steps, combined with that of the occasional nocturnal animal, is the only thing we can hear. It's terribly dark in this place. The dense vegetation makes it impossible to see the sky or light from the moon. Our flashlights are the only things that light up our way. At times like this, one begs to not run out of battery. We walk without knowing for what we are really looking for. Without knowing what we... whatever. Or better said, for no reason. Jesus Christ. We're just a group of boys bored with our lives. I didn't see any mention of boys in this game, but sure. Trying to create a lasting memory on this night instead of just staying home doing nothing. Today is October 31st, All Hallows Eve, better known as Halloween. Halloween's All Hallows Day. All Hallows Eve is October 30th. But, yeah, sure. 3 young men walk through a dark but up until now nothing special forest, me being one of them. We are doing it to prove our courage. It's too bad there isn't a girl here to see how brave we are. Yeah, that always gets the girl. Being brave. Seeing it like that, one can say this is a meaningless effort. For a moment I stopped to look at my watch. It's 1:49 a.m. Where are your parents? That means we have been walking aimlessly for more than 2 hours now. So you started on the 30th. Why would you even go out on the 30th? Nothing cool happens then. I'm sure that many people would find a place like this terrifying. But once you get used to it, the fear disappears, making it feel like normal. What makes us afraid of the dark is what we cannot know what hides in it, what lurks in the shadows. But this is clearly an empty darkness. Oh my god, the exposition for this. Who wrote this novel? I guess this is a visual novel, isn't it? At that moment, I sigh, feeling how tired my legs are. What is the point of being here? Clearly, we have already demonstrated what we wanted. What'd you want? It would be best to return, I should tell them. I was about to speak when suddenly the atmosphere in the forest becomes strange. Ooh, there's a fog. I don't like that half these buttons are cut off. Just leave the buttons on the fucking off screen here. You got a lot of space. Suddenly a chill runs through my body. It was like any other chill, except it was not going away. I don't know about you, but where I live, October 31st is cold as fuck. For no reason, the air's temperature dropped from one second to the other. So much so, my breath becomes visible, turning into mist. It doesn't end there. The air is now filled with a rotten smell just a little short from being unbearable. Images of worms and flies soon appear in my mind, giving me a really unpleasant feeling. We all stop at that moment. What's happening? Says Axel, character who does not have a face yet. I asked, confused, while turning to look at my friends. By the expression on their faces, it was easy to know that they were just as lost as I was. It was then we heard footsteps nearby that did not come from any of us. Okay, the footsteps actually kind of scared me a little bit, not gonna lie to you. We all got dead quiet after that. I don't know if it was out of fear or to check if it was not a mistake, but we stayed motionless, like statues without making a noise. Just looking at each other's faces, wondering the same thing. What was happening? Friend. As if I could know. We heard the steps again. They clearly belonged to a human, or at least to a large animal, but there is something strange about them. It sounds as if the person walked dragging one foot. Just thinking about it made me shiver. It doesn't sound any different. Damn, why is this happening? It makes no sense, says Friend. We should have returned home before, but now it's too late to regret it. Is it? I have the feeling that we are being stalked by someone. The strange footsteps stop, but I'm still feeling the presence nearby. I don't know where it is, but I know that it's looking at me. That cursed thing is looking at me. What cursed thing? My heart is beating anxiously. It's almost as if my body was telling me to get out of there. But strangely, my friends seem unable to perceive it. It seems that it's gone. It must have been just an animal. Said one of them, convinced that we were safe. I'd like to believe that too. We had a sigh of relief, however bad luck would soon strike us again. I expect this to have some weird jump scare, right? Unexpectedly, the forest becomes darker than before in just the blink of an eye. This was written by a 12-year-old. But that wasn't the fault of the forest, but of our flashlights which went out. Of the three, only mine was still working because I'm the protagonist and the only one that gets a name. What's going on? Did the batteries die? Asked one of them scared, while they both beat them desperately, as if that was going to revive them. I can't blame them. The idea of walking in the darkness was not pleasant for anyone. I mean, you still have a light, so they're not in darkness. But after a few moments, we had no choice but to resign ourselves to that. Once more, the sound of our footsteps is heard. But the silence is different now. We are not quiet because we have nothing to say, but because we are afraid. We continue walking despite the fear that invades us. Visibility is almost zero, but we have no choice. In theory, we were walking back looking for the exit, but I cannot remember anything of this forest. Yeah, it's an unmarked forest. How would you know? We could be walking in circles and I would never notice it until it's too late. I hate the thought of it. I just want to get out of here. Suddenly, my thoughts are silenced. We heard the footsteps of someone or something. Once more, the three of us become statues awaiting the presence to go. I hold my breath while feeling my heart beating anxiously. They would still see your one flashlight. Damn, get away from here and leave us alone. Unexpectedly, the steps are heard closer. This time, they do not disappear, but rather come at us. Ooh, I can't stand it. Desperately, I move my flashlight everywhere, looking for the author of those steps. Hoping for the light to reveal their identity and erase our fears. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Is that all there is around here? Just empty air? My anxiety grows with each failed attempt. I refuse to believe that it was a ghost. Suddenly, when I move the flashlight again, I see a silhouette. I cannot distinguish what it was, but for a moment the light revealed something. I bet it's a fucking cat. Quickly, I point to the same place, only to discover it was gone. I hold my breath anxiously. It was not an illusion. I am sure that I saw something. It was then that I hear something nearby. Without even thinking, I aimed the light towards that place. What I found paralyzed us with an expression of disbelief on our faces. It was a white cat with eyes of intense red which stands before us. Her look is not the friendliest, to say something. Somehow I get the feeling it's a female cat. Okay. Suddenly, she lets out a thunderous meow that leaves us terrified. Don't be wusses. I thought you were being brave. It sounded more like a lion roaring than a simple cat. The echo of her meow was heard throughout the forest, making it sound more sinister than it should be. It was then that suddenly an inexplicable force hits us three. Ow. Okay. I fall to the ground and little by little my eyelids close. The fatigue becomes unbearable. I lose consciousness on the ground of the forest without knowing what was going to happen to me. Interlude before night falls. That's so fancy text I can't read it. It's November 1st and everything's done now. It's a Mac. It's a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. Far were the memories when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nostalgic. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least it seems like that. There were some who had good costumes, whether superheroes or monsters. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imagination. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted my face and told me, "You will be the devil." What? But it seems only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was the Tomato Man. But those things didn't matter to me, since we always had a good time. If I asked for candy now, even if I had the best costume, I'm sure no one would give me anything. That's not true. People in high school still do that shit, sadly. Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I'm 17 years old. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present, no matter how little exciting that may be. That was grammatically incorrect. Back to reality. We are a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. Where are the friends? We are still not old enough to go to a disco. And I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. Like us. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls, and have fun. Hey, what's up, Ty Plays? And no, I didn't give up on Duel Links. That's a video coming out tomorrow. Everything perfect, except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Sucks to suck. Hey, Axel, let's have a couple matches. What do you say? My friend Steven called my attention while playing with the game console. Generic game console. Rushed. I believe that's what the game is called. A fast and quite compelling fighting game for me. I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring. The AI is no rival for me. Oh, Steven has a name now. He's no longer just friend. Steven said with confidence. That you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge to Alfred. I said, leading the attention to my other friend. Oh my god, the writing. I don't know how to play that. Alfred has a name now. Answering Alfred, doubting for a second. Answered. Jesus, reading is also hard. That doesn't help. He is sitting behind the PC, but it seems that he isn't doing anything interesting. That's a Mac! You can see the logo still. The screen only shows a lot of text. I think he's in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement without even thinking about what he was reading. With discouragement. What does that mean? Alfred looks at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He is one of those pseudo-intellectuals, always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others, like, yeah, that you can get from Wikipedia, totally. When we forget our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them. He added later. Didn't reach the word limit, so I said he added later. What are you talking about? This village is small, and its story is not interesting at all. Nothing outside of the normal has ever happened in it. Hey, what's up, Regillionite? Alfred laughs mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact it is a small town is the reason it's full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago on this date a man disappeared? So what about it? And you can on patreon.com/QBuyStudios. Things like that happen all the time in all places. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place. Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in an arrogant gesture. Oh good, he's got glasses. I wish I could see the people. There is a legend behind the disappearance, that is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. So then I noticed that it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little. Ty Plays, it's a tier on my Patreon page. If you have if you support me on I believe the gold or platinum tier, you can request any video you want. And I will do it. Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on the screen. Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. Town of Abingdon, Oxfordshire County, 1994. Hey, what's up, Paradox? I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I seen something this strange. I won't say your typical detective-ish nonsense that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes. Some difficult to solve. But all of them were human. Even if you don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crime, you know that they are people like anyone else. Sorry then, ma'am. I do need money and do have to pay bills as well. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. The truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was called for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham. 23 years. Single. The last time he was seen, he was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol but was still sober. What was the point then? Or at least that's what the witnesses said. Anyway, this is not something simple which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on the way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. Well, thanks for stopping by, Paradox. We could easily find his traces, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I say stop, but the truth is we don't know what happened then. The tracks suddenly ended up clearing in the forest. And that's all. There's no evidence of struggle, no other trace, or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footprints, anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the position they were in indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he vaporized in the air, with all of his clothes in the middle of his walk. Obviously, I can't believe such a thing, but I can't give any other explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sense a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It's ridiculous to think he suddenly started to decay and become Earth. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. What kind of detective work was that? With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything, but he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there was nowhere to do, I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sorts of theories. Like maybe everything was a plan developed by Matthew, but in the end they all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched for a town for similar stories, and to my surprise I found 4 more. All young men. The story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. I said it before it appeared because I knew. But there is more. A detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a killer or kidnapper behind this, and that is the separation of the years. Roger Bacon, nice, disappeared in 1924. Mitchell Smith disappeared in 1867. Would you keep record of that? Jason Black disappeared in 1813. Why didn't we start from the farthest one back? And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. Wait, what about the other dude? It simply couldn't be possible. My curiosity led me to dig deeper. I thought that the answer may be in the past of the forest. It was then I discovered what seemed to be simple and boring forest actually hid a great story, as they always do. Before it was called Oakwood or Oaks Forest, the place was called Witchwood. Because there were witches. Probably. The word witch has a huge similarity with the word witch. Taking into consideration that it is an old name and the language changes over time, that indicates that it was the forest of witches. Apparently, more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. They were stories told in voice, without a properly written record. I just know that with the change of religion to Christian, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently, the last one before her death cast a curse on the forest which even today should continue to exist. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as the answer. In the end, I have no other choice than accepting that one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. And then they were gone forever. Interesting story. I didn't know such a story was hiding in this town. I said honestly surprised. Even if it is a lie, it managed to hold my interest. Wait, there's something more. Alfred said at the same time he scrolls to the comments. We read what is written there. A couple of comments call our attention. I would love to edit this. I should message the guy and be like, hey, I can edit your game. Because I'm sure it's a good story. It's not bad so far. There's just a lot of grammatical things that don't need to be said. Both of them talk about the same creature. At that time, they felt a horrible fear for what could happen to them. Well, the 2 comments share great similarities, but they could have been written by the same person. There are many others that deny it. Looks like many people went to the forest because of the legend but couldn't find anything. I thought you only read these things to look more cool before the girls. No one reads these to look cool in front of girls, because the answer and the reality is you do not look cool in front of girls for reading these. Replied Stephen as a joke. Oh, okay. Alfred giggles with a little shame. Partly yes. He admitted that it was a secret everyone silently knew. Well, now we have activity for tonight. Stephen said at the same time he makes a face overflowing with enthusiasm. What? I asked, completely lost. I thought we were just killing time. Simple, let's go to that forest. Stephen replied without hesitation. He seemed really fascinated by the story. Are you insane? Said Alfred, unable to believe what he just heard. You only needed to look at his face to know that he did not like the idea. Despite everything you've heard, you want to go? Of course, it would be a test of courage among us 3. Replied Stephen, full of confidence, perhaps too much. He should relax a bit. He's, after all, only playing games on normal difficulty, so he kind of sucks. Don't tell me you're afraid. I know, why should I be afraid? Answered Alfred at the same time he folds his arm, making a false gesture of security. It's more than obvious you're afraid, Alfred. Almost as much as when you have to talk with a girl. Sick burn! And what about you, Axel? Don't tell me you won't come. Suddenly, Stephen asks me at the same time, looking at me mockingly. Don't tell me you want to be the chicken of the group? I hate that tone of voice he used. I will never give you that. I said without thinking, showed a confident smile and look. Let's not say any more. Take your coats, backpacks, and flashlights and some food. We're going to the forest. Stephen said, full of energy. We don't need to describe how they said it every time. It's okay. Sometimes you can let that slide. Yeah! We three said in unison, as if we were going to have some kind of private party. Not really knowing what we were doing or what we were going to find. Like the skull and crossbones blanket. 2:13 a.m. This is, I assume, after we get kidnapped or whatever, right? By the cat. Who's probably actually a girl. I awake completely confused, not knowing how much time had passed. My head hurts like hell, but I can't blame it. Fortunately, the pain goes away quickly, just as my confusion. Soon I come back to my senses. My flashlight is lying on the ground, shining towards the empty air. I immediately pick it up. It was my only protection against the darkness that surrounds me. Then I remember that Stephen and Alfred were with me. Stephen, Alfred, can you hear me? Without thinking, I scream their names in the dark while trying to find them with my flashlight, but there is no trace of them. They are gone. Where the hell are they? And just what the hell happened? I really don't understand anything. Shit, we could have stayed at home. This is not proof of courage. We could be in danger. I have to find them. Bravery and stupidity are often the same thing. It's 2:19 a.m. We found them already. The ultimate detective is at work. Oh, no, we didn't. Little time had passed since I started to look for my friends, and I already can't stand this place. I'm going crazy in this forest. The darkness that covers it is unnatural. It's a darkness that steals your own sanity, replacing it with anxiety. So literally anything in my life. To make it worse, the air is damp and cold as in winter, carrying a strong rot smell. As if there were corpses of animals hidden throughout the forest. The atmosphere in this place is oppressive. With every step you take, it makes you more uncomfortable. Since I started to look for my friends, I felt that something is watching me, but there is nothing. I sigh with my voice full of frustration. I just want to get out of here. I continue walking devoid of any hope. No matter where I look or how much I walk, I find nothing. I cannot even hear the sounds of animals. Rather, it seems they are already dead and rotting. No, I have to calm myself, I said to myself. We figured. I stopped for a moment to rest. I breathe deeply, but the rotten air of this place does me no good. Immediately I start to cough as if something struck in the throat. Shit, what am I going to do? This cursed forest seems endless. And even if by miracle I could escape, I cannot abandon Stephen and Alfred. Get out and call the cops and have them actually do a real search? You know, like their job? I'm really screwed up. Again I sigh, feeling on the verge of tears. My frustration is building up, but I have to do my best to keep calm, for the girl in the forest will come out in like 2 more pages. If I fall into despair, then there would be no doubt I will be joining the list of missing persons. A little bit of Danganronpa so far. In the end, I decided to keep walking. Step by step, I should get somewhere. At least I was convinced that staying in the same place would not do me any good. Even if it was only to deceive myself, feeling that I am doing something, I wanted to continue walking. Time passes without any changes. Only the sound of my footsteps can be heard. Knowing that as soon as you stop, you will be surrounded by a dead silence is a good incentive to keep walking. But my legs were already hurting. Suddenly I hear a crack at my feet. Instantly I take a step back and look below to see what made that sound. What is this? I whispered to myself, surprised, discovering that I had stepped on an animal bone. I believe it's from an animal, though I do not rule out the possibility that it belongs to a person. But for my own good, I prefer not to think about that. An expression of anguish is drawn on my face. It's best to ignore it. I have to keep walking. Suddenly, my flashlight reveals something. Without hesitation, I point towards there again. The cat's dead. Only to realize with surprise that it is the white cat. The one from before which made the awful meow, but this time I find it lying on the ground. It appears to have fainted and is wounded. Then what should I do? Ignore the cat. Let's pick her up. I feel like it'll eat my face, but... Wait, what? It's best to continue without waking her. That cat is dangerous. It's her fault that I ended up in this place and my friends are missing. Didn't I say pick it up? Yeah, wait, what? I just watched the Twitch stream say I did that. But even knowing that, for some strange reason, I can't help but feel sorry for her. Even if it's unnatural, it's still an animal. I bend down to see her closer. Here's the jump scare. She is unconscious and there is a thin line of blood coming from her mouth. I'm a real idiot, I said to myself at the same time I cleaned the blood from her mouth with a handkerchief that I had with me. Fortunately, she doesn't wakes up. I then closed her mouth, making her appearance a little better. Now she seemed to be peacefully sleeping. But it wasn't peaceful. It was scary. Oh. After a long sigh, I decided to pick her up carefully. I don't know what the powers of this cat are, but if she brought me here, maybe she can return me to my world. With her in my arms, I decide that the best thing I can do is continue walking. 2:31 a.m. I'm preparing for the jump scare. Again, I find myself in the dark forest, walking aimlessly. Only moving forward, but it didn't seem like I was getting somewhere. In my arms, I carry the cat, which sleeps soundly. Come here you'll be safe, says the voice. I suddenly stop. It was probably easy to see the disbelief on my face at that moment. It's that voice again. What? When did the voice happen for the first time? I whispered to myself with no one to listen to me. Shortly after I found the cat, a mysterious voice appeared in my mind. It's a feminine voice, soft and gentle, as if it belonged to a princess from a fairy tale, but I can't trust it. Why not? Am I going crazy, or is this forest that doesn't make any sense? I don't know, but I don't like any of the two options. I then feel the cat move in my arms. I look down at her confused just to see how she opens her red eyes suddenly. I become quiet at that instant. For a moment, the two stayed motionless, staring into the eyes of the other. The red eyes of the cat are disturbing to me, but also there is something fascinating about them, something that attracts me. I lose myself in her eyes as if hypnotized, until suddenly she jumps with the intention of scratching my face. My reflex is pushing her at the same time I jump back, turning my head to dodge the claws. Ninja'd! I managed to dodge her attack, but in the process I dropped my flashlight. Oh, fuck. I panicked and acted clumsily. The flashlight falls near me, lighting up a tree in the vicinity. As soon as it left my hands, I remember how dense this abnormal darkness is. I quickly pick it up, not even thinking before taking action. I then light the place where the cat was. Only discovered she had arched her body angrily as if she feared an attack from me. Those red eyes stare at me, shining with the light of the flashlight as if they were jewels, reflecting a fearsome hatred and rejection towards me. My body freezes after seeing them. I can't even think. Nice. The cat then lets out a thunderous meow, similar to the one before, but weaker, although not any less frightening. There is no doubt there is something wrong with that animal. It must be cursed. Well, it has fucking red eyes, so everything is her fault. She must be some kind of evil spirit, a pet of the witches. I feel how panic seizes me. My heart beats quickly, begging me to do something. My mouth is dry and my forehead covered with cold sweat. What should I do? Confront the cat. Fuck this cat. It's weak. It didn't knock me out this time with the meow. It's bleeding. What are you gonna do? No, I should not despair. I have to calm down and think carefully about what I should do. With that in mind, I take a deep breath and look again at her. Soon the expression in my eyes changes from fear to courage. You're a cat. What are you gonna do? I realize it is only a cow, without a doubt a strange one, but my life is not actually in danger. That isn't a tiger staring at me, but a simple cat. Apparently her only power are those weird meows. If she could kill me, she would have already done it. So I rule out that possibility. Her work must be transporting the next victim to this area of the forest, so unnatural and shady. After filling my lungs with air, I slowly walk towards the cat, and then I meow back at her. Be like, what, bitch? I can make loud noises too. Her meows get louder with every step, but I don't let her Her meows get louder with every step, but I don't let them scare me. I don't know why I went back. Now it's scared. Seeing that I do not turn back, she shyly takes a step back. Yeah, you scared now. For whatever reason, though, this image creeps me out. In my mind, I smiled at that image. The prey is now the hunter. I look at her directly while advancing. Little by little, her meows become weaker, as if she was losing strength. Then I suddenly jump and take her in my hands. She hardly resists at all. Wait, why are we grabbing it again? Not so tough now, right? You look better like this. It's like... She is trembling in my hands. She looks so helpless that I almost feel like a villain. But I must not forget all that she's done so far. It's her fault that I'm in this place. Well, technically it's Steven's fault. Fuck Steven. She brought me here, then if I kill her, would it be possible to go back? For a moment, the grim idea crossed my mind. I had never killed an animal. Truth is that I can't be proud of myself in doing such a thing. But if I do, maybe this legend could end here and now. We still don't know if that cat is what did it. Let's not go killing shit. If the cat is our only way back, we should keep it alive at least till we figure the fucking stuff out. Then what should I do? Kill her? No, just keep her captured. It's only logical that magic should die along with the cat. That should be my ticket back. If I kill her, everything would be over tonight and the legend would come to an end. I don't think that's how that works. Confident that it was for the best, I try to view it in my mind. But no matter how hard I force myself to see it, in the end I am unable to take the life of another living being. Even if it's a cursed cat serving a witch, I don't feel good killing her. I think I'm too nice for my own good. So the only thing that remains is to keep her with me, hoping that sooner or later she allows me to escape. With nothing more to think about, I decide the best thing to do is continue my path. Do we need to pet the cat? Maybe if we give it pets, it'll let us go back. 2:41 a.m. I'm doing a little read-along story here. It's been a few minutes since I captured the cat. Again, I found myself walking with her in my arms, led by the strange voice. How long have I been walking in this forest? Apparently not enough to make me go mad, but it should be close. Don't be afraid. Come with me. I will help you. Don't fucking listen to this voice. Fuck no. The voice sounds closer this time. It seems that I am going in the right direction. I don't fully trust in it, but it's the best I have. At least at first glance, it seems a friendly voice. That's how they get you. That's how the succubus gets you. I'm completely focused on my way when I suddenly feel something biting me. You stupid fucking cat! What the heck? I shout in pain, realizing that the cat bit my arm. Fortunately, it wasn't a dangerous bite, but it sure was painful. Now we have rabies. With my distraction, she takes the chance to jump from my arms, falling a few steps away from me. Quickly, I gaze upon her furious, but soon something happens that makes me forget about my anger. Suddenly, the cat is covered with a bright light. So much that it repels the unnatural darkness surrounding the forest, stealing my breath. Under the light, its figure gradually changes until it ceases to be a cat and becomes a human figure. Called it! It's undergoing metamorphosis like those old books. No longer is there a cat in front of me, but a girl with incredible beauty. Why'd you bite me? I must really be going crazy. She has white hair and red eyes. She seems about my age. In other circumstances, I would have asked her out without hesitation. Just thinking about it makes me laugh to myself in my mind. Even at the edge of madness, it seems that some things about me will never change. I feel that, though. She approaches slowly toward me, one step at a time with no fear. The girl then stares into my eyes with a slightly irritated face. She still has the cat color on, that's funny. Doesn't have cat ears, though. Her lips are moving. She seems to be saying something, but I am unable to hear a sound. Are you trying to tell me something? I babbled, still confused, with a face of disbelief which surely made me look stupid. Girl. ... said the girl with a very low voice. I do not understand what she is saying. I can't hear you well. I asked, still confused. Suddenly the girl pouts in a bad mood. What's wrong with you? Are you deaf? Finally I could hear her clearly. And just in time, because it seems her patience was about to end. Okay, now I heard you. I said, annoyed. All of my astonishment from just a few seconds ago disappears when I see the arrogant attitude of the girl. At least now I don't think she will bite me, I hope. The girl then snorts with irritation. Okay, bitch. Let's calm down. What an annoying guy I had to find. Thanks. She said at the time she places a hand on her lips, making a pensive face. That doesn't match the image we're seeing. Wait, you shouldn't speak ill of someone you have right before you. Words are hard, man. I was quick to respond. For a moment, I feel annoyed at the thought that I have to teach manners to this spirit, or whatever she is. A pity, so much beauty wasted on someone so arrogant. The girl let out a snort of annoyance after hearing me. I'm sorry, it's a bad habit that I can't quit. Smoking will kill you. She answered without sounding very, repentant? Clearly a false apology. After talking, she diverts her gaze towards the surroundings as if she was bored. I see. I replied annoyed. I just met her and I already feel like I don't like her. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I must not forget who this girl is. She was the cat that started it all. Anyway, at least you could tell me why you attacked me and my friends. I asked shortly after, acting more seriously. The greetings were over. It's time to get to the important stuff. So we could have killed this girl. That would have been awkward. And why did you bite me if I wasn't doing anything? Before I knew it, my lips move, asking another question. I cannot lie, I was angry. The girl then stares at my face. She blinks with curiosity before speaking. Does it hurt? The wound? Fuck you! She asked innocently. Yes. I was quick to respond with annoyance. I didn't need to say more. Of course it hurts me, silly cat. She looks at me silent for a few seconds until suddenly she approaches me without any shyness or fear. On second thought, how could a simple human such as me scare a cat that can turn into a person? I don't like that the weird zoom that it just did. Show me your wound. I'm getting myself into this mood that this is supposed to be really scary because I want it to be scary. Said the girl when she stood right next to me. Her presence makes me nervous. This girl seemed to not know what personal space is. And embarrassing as it sounds, I never had a girl this close, if only it wasn't in this forest. Jesus. I don't know why I shouldn't trust her, but strangely something tells me that she has no bad intentions. The girl is surrounded by a calm aura, something pure, unlike anything else in the forest. In the end, resigning myself with a sigh, I show her my arm with the bite. Immediately, the girl sets her sight on my wound. It will only take a moment, she said with complete confidence. She tears off the rest of my arm. Then she looks up into my eyes up. Could you close your eyes? She's got the anime blush. The game's complete. She asked as she blushes slightly. I'm surprised to see that her embarrassed face she has, even if just a little. Then I sigh, feeling something wasn't right, but there's nothing else I can do. Okay, I said, doing as she asked. I didn't know what to expect. That's how you die. For a moment I thought she would get naked or something like that. Okay, I guess we are playing as a 17-year-old. But what kind of magic can only work when you have no clothes? Baby making magic. I don't know, but my mind sure wanted to imagine that. Come on, Axel, keep your composure. Suddenly I feel something warm and wet touch my wound. Immediately I shudder. Wait, what are you doing? It's a stupid question because I knew well what she was doing. She was licking my wound. You idiot. Who said you could watch? Was quick to respond to the cat. That's not right either. With her cheeks red in embarrassment and her lips so close to my wound, she looked adorably troubled. Don't you see that I'm just trying to heal you? She then added in a bad mood. Sorry, I said, blushing. I thought you would do something more extraordinary. Now I'm not sure. Is she the girl who can transform into a cat, or a cat that can become a girl? Sorry to disappoint you, not being extraordinary enough. I think turning in from a cat to a human is pretty fucking extraordinary, so we can calm down. Murmured the girl at the same time she gives me an annoyed look. Red eyes shining with disgust. It is then I realize the pain has disappeared. With curiosity, I look where the wound was, only to discover that there is no trace of it. For a couple seconds, I stay silent, incredulous. It seems that your treatment worked, I finally said gratefully, still looking at the spot. But of course, I have experience healing myself, answered the girl, closing her eyes and inflating her chest to show pride. I actually appreciate what she did, but I still wonder if she really had to lick it to cure me. I understand, but who are you? I am the Witch of the Forest. The girl makes a small snort with curiosity after hearing my question. Then she tilts her head and closes her eyes, making a thoughtful face. It seems I have not presented myself. She opens her eyes and gazes into mine. My name is Ashley. It's a really plain name, actually. So that's her name. I expected something more extravagant. Fuck, I sound like the protagonist now. My name is Axel. By the way, have you ever been accused of witchcraft? Before I knew it, I asked that question. I guess it was rather rude from me, completely lacking in manners. But I must not forget for even a second that I am in this cursed forest. Ashley suddenly becomes silent. At plain sight, it was obvious she didn't take it well. She takes her time before responding. Yes, but that was a long time ago. Then she closes her eyes and exhales, emptying her lungs. She seemed to be recalling something painful. Just seeing her made me feel guilty. I'm sorry, it was not my intention to make you remember it. I said, slightly remorseful. No doubt to be accused of witchcraft must have been a horrible experience. Ashley closes her eyes and nods a couple times. It's okay, it's not like I can blame your curiosity seeing where we are. Then she looks at me closely with curious eyes. By the way, how do you know about me? Perhaps you are a sorcerer who has lived during these past centuries? She asked, narrowing her eyes as if she was trying to see the inside of my mind. What kind of question is that? I mean, you just asked her if she was a fucking witch, so calm down. No, nothing like that. I answered at the moment. I'm just an ordinary person. I omitted boring, but she didn't need to know that. I'm sure she's picked it out. It's just that there are stories about witches in this forest. But as you can see, the stories are not very convincing, or else I wouldn't be here. Wait, the stories are not very convincing. Oh. I explained, trying to remove any doubt that Ashley may have. Again, she closes her eyes and nods. I understand. She pauses and looks me in the eyes. It's because of those stupid myths that humans come to this forest just like you. She then said, looking at me with rejection. I mean, are they myths if they're real? Because you're fucking here. What are you trying to say? We are to blame? I replied, feeling offended. Ashley suddenly looks at me disgusted. Are you an idiot? Yes, if you hadn't come, my existence would be nice and peaceful instead of this chaos that it is every year. She said, ending with a sigh of frustration. But you're the one who causes all of this. I was quick to respond. I didn't even bother to hide my anger. I can't believe what she says. How arrogant can she be? Ashley opens her eyes wide, surprised. Then she looks at me with annoyance in her red eyes. Do you not understand, stupid human? Definitely, I don't like this girl. I don't mind her. We're the one that's actually kind of being a dick. I'm only trying to protect you. Her words take me by surprise. Huh? I exclaimed incredulously. The guy who wrote this game likes that word. You attack me, attack my friends, only to protect us? Yes. She simply replied. At the same time, she nods, filled with pride and confidence. Okay, that's it. I'm getting out of here. I cannot believe how arrogant and self-centered this girl is. After everything she did to me and my friends, I can't stand her any longer. Why not ask her, what are you protecting me from? Wait. I had only taken a few steps when I heard her calling me. She sounds really worried. You don't understand the real danger you're in here. I stop in my tracks as soon as I hear her. Real danger? Would you say we are in a zone of danger? I whispered, feeling some doubts. Suddenly I shiver. It doesn't look like she's lying. Yes, I try to chase them away using illusions. Other times I hit them with my powers. And as a last resort, I scare them directly, as it was in your case. Ashley confessed, blushed a little, feeling it as if she felt embarrassed of remembering. And why do you do that? I asked, confused. Something isn't right here. Ashley stares at me with her red eyes. If they continue with their curiosity, they will meet an evil entity that takes their lives. What you say doesn't sound very convincing. I don't know why I can't read right now. I immediately interrupted. The only evil entity here is you. Ashley shakes her head in denial. You're wrong. I'm the good one. Then she said, looking into my eyes with the pure innocence in hers. Ha ha ha. I could only laugh at the comment. It had to be a joke. After doing all that, you say you're good? Don't laugh. I'm only trying to protect you. replied Ashley, furious while waving her arms. She then crosses her arms and gives me an unpleased look. Do you expect me to believe that? I replied sarcastically. What she said made no sense, but somehow she seemed oddly convinced it was the truth. Axel, or whoever the fuck we're playing as, really irritating me. She was surely a bit wrong in the head. But it's true, you have to believe me. This time she sounds really worried about me. I actually feel a little sorry for her. Ashley then stays silent, looking at me with puppy eyes. However, she soon recovers her proud attitude. If you want, hold my hand, I won't harm you, she suddenly says. I look carefully at her. She has a very arrogant face, as if it was a great honor to be able to touch her. You won't do anything strange, like turn into a cat, or something? I asked, distrustful, but after seeing her again, I do not think she was lying. Ashley nods, full of confidence. I promise you. I stare at her for a few seconds, making sure there isn't a trap. Okay, but why do you want me to hold your hand? So we can be cute together. I ask at the same time I extend my hand. Ashley opens her eyes, surprised after hearing my question, then stares at me with annoyance. Are you stupid? Obviously to guide you out of the forest, she said, just as she takes my hand in one quick move. I then find myself being dragged by this strange girl. But this is the opposite way from where the melodious voice comes from. Melodious? Melodious. Okay. I said, looking back for a second. I felt really curious about who she was. You ignore that voice. Yeah, I agree. Ignore that voice. That's obviously a trap. It charms men to make them her victims. Think of it as a siren or a succubus. I said succubus, she just said siren. Ashley explained in a bad mood, with her eyes always looking to the front. It seems she didn't get along well with whoever that person or entity was. Wouldn't you be the one who collects souls of fools? I asked without thinking. I seriously needed more experience with when dealing with a girl. Yeah, you do. If only I were more popular. Yeah, that'll solve all your problems. Be popular. Ashley stops suddenly. She then turns at me, showing me a furious face. You idiot. I already said I'm the good one. For a moment I thought she was going to hit me on the head. But fortunately she stopped before doing so or biting me again. Okay. I meekly responded as if I were a scolded child. But if you eat me, I will make sure to give you the worst indigestion in your life. You idiot, I don't eat humans, replied Ashley, ending with an arrogant snort. 3:11 a.m. Isn't that a band? Several minutes had passed since I started to walk hand in hand with Ashley. At the beginning, I did not trust her at all, but the more time passed, the easier it was to believe her. I hadn't noticed before how comfortable her hand is, soft and pleasant to the touch. We're catching feelings. I blush just thinking about it. Even if she's a witch, she's a girl too, right? Then I sigh. Come on, Axel, composure. With every step, the curse of the forest seemed to weaken. The atmosphere was less oppressive every minute until finally I was able to forget about that unpleasant feeling. Before I noticed, the darkness had returned to normal, feeling only empty. The rotten smell also disappeared without a trace. Now I could really say I was in a common and ordinary forest, even boring. Hey, what's up, Tony? But I could not be more grateful for that. Just a little more to get out, so let's keep moving. Then I set my sight on the back of Ashley, watching her walk in silence. She was completely focused on that simple thing. If you're the witch from the legend, why are you helping me? I suddenly asked, not thinking twice before it. I was really intrigued by that. Ashley stops and turns, looking at me with an angry face. Idiot, do you really think that all witches are evil? She was right. The general image of witches is not good, but it's not as if stereotypes were truthful. Then she closes her eyes, making an annoyed face. She's literally called me an idiot almost every sentence. It's true that I had supernatural powers, but I never used them to do harm. Ashley lowers her sight and pauses. Suddenly she looks sad. My only sin was to be born in the time of the witch hunts. That's why I was condemned. Wait, what the fuck just happened? My only sin was... That explains it. Well, I feel I can trust she is good. Yeah. But there's still one more question. And how did you end up becoming a cat? Ashley immediately blushes. She was so embarrassed that it was almost adorable. Almost. Well, before my execution, there was a cat watching in the distance. So I decided to transfer my soul to it. She explained, avoiding looking into my eyes. Of course, we now share the body. We have like a deal. The cat will be happy as long as it has something to eat and a place to sleep. I try to provide her with all those needs. And in return, she lets me stay in her body. As she talks, she is blushing shyly. I see, I think it's a fair deal. I replied with a sincere smile. The truth is that I found it a little funny. It turns out that she is both a girl and a cat that answers some questions. How did her girl body come back? Ashley closes her eyes and nods a couple times, as she does periodically apparently. When she wants to be, she can be very cute. Too bad that happens so rarely. Not saying more, Ashley continues walking to the exit. This time I stay in silence. All that remains for me is to escape from this place. 3:15 a.m. Not a very long walk. I don't think we need to note the passage of time if it's only been 4 minutes. Well, here we are, Ashley said just a few minutes after we talked. She isn't lying. I can see the end of the forest in the distance. Come with me back to human land. I had to contain my desire to scream with joy at that moment. There must be 2 other humans close here, your friends. Go with them and return home. I hope that nobody else comes tonight. Ashley said, giving me a subtle farewell, but strangely, she does not let go of my hand. She looks deep into my eyes. Amazed, I notice the gentleness that reflects on them. Hey girl, what you doing later? Can you make me a promise? She suddenly said with an honest voice. It was no joke. What is it? Come back next year? I asked, full of curiosity. I don't know what I could do for a witch, but after helping me to escape, I think she deserves for me to hear her request. End this legend, she then murmured with an air of sadness. I can't understand why she asked for something like this. Why? Well, she wants people to stop coming into her fucking forest. I want you to help me keep people away. The legend only attracts more people, as in your case. I need to kill it, replacing the supernatural danger with a human danger. A human danger? So you want me to scare them with ordinary dangers as thieves or ferocious animals? On second thought, there's a logic in what you asked. No shit. If you remove the element of magic and only leave the danger, then exploring the forest is not worth the risk. Ashley nods and then looks into my eyes, blushing. Yes, exactly. Why is she blushing about this? She said, pleased. Okay, I'll do it. You can rely on me. I responded with determination. I wanted her to know how serious I was, that it was not a promise I would forget as soon as I got out of the forest. Thank you. Then she closes her eyes momentarily and inflates her chest with pride. This has also been a really common line in this. You aren't as stupid as I thought. I should have expected something like that. Hey, I told you not to talk ill of someone when they're right in front of you. I complained angrily. This girl simply will never change. It's been like an hour. After seeing my reaction, Ashley cannot help but laugh. I'm sorry, haha. It's the first time I've seen her so happy. That made me blush. Ashley looked unexpectedly adorable at that moment. What is happening? My heart was nervously beating as if I was with a normal girl. Suddenly she stares at me and gets so close her face is less than an inch from mine. Again she demonstrates not knowing what personal space is, or she's going for a kiss, genius. But this time I don't know whether to be angry or thankful. Having her so close, a beautiful girl, makes me very nervous. Okay. This is the farewell. This is the farewell, she suddenly said. She then brings her lips to my cheek and gives me a tender kiss. So why can't she come with us? I guess I don't understand. Everything just becomes white at that moment. Everything loses its color. Everything is gone. Everything. Everything. 3:18 a.m. 3 minutes have passed. I'm outside of the forest. I have no idea how I made it here, but this is no illusion. I am bewildered, as if I had been sleepwalking. Axel! Suddenly I hear someone calling my name. But it's not any strange voice. It's the voices of my friends who are looking for me. Hey, over here. I shout without a second of hesitation, with a bit of clumsiness because of my confusion. Soon they found me and impatiently run towards me. Where were you? The worry was killing us. Stephen said with a face that I don't remember having ever seen before. I answered. Before answering, I rubbed my forehead. Within the forest, I couldn't find the exit. Alfred was about to say something. Before that, I interrupt him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was just lost. The important thing is that we're all safe. Yeah, you're right. Hey, don't you feel that we were forgetting something? Alfred murmured at the same time he lowers his sight pensive. Suddenly a blurry image appears in my mind. It was white and bright, but I can't remember more. However, that weak memory awakes a strange feeling of nostalgia in me. It was as if I had lost something, but what could it be? How could he go and get rid of the memory of the forest if he doesn't remember her? Anyway, we should go home. This has gone too far for a test of courage. I said with no intention of spending one more minute in this forest. They both agree with me. With nothing else to say, we can only return home. By the way, guys, we should write on that page to not go to the forest. Forget about the witches. Somebody might get lost there, as it happened to me. It was a miracle that I came out alive with that beast lurking around. Before knowing it, my lips move. Why did I say that? I have no idea, but something inside me inspired me to do so. To be honest, I have no memory of the beast I speak of. All I can remember is that it has red eyes and white fur, but nothing more, and also turned into a fucking human. Then I remember something. I think it was a promise I made to wait. To whom had I made that promise? I think about it for a moment in silence, but in the end, I can't remember a thing. No matter, all I know is that I got out and I'll never come back here again. I guess we got the good ending. Finn! Is that the good ending? I'm gonna get an achievement. Is this a game? Yeah, it's a game, I guess. That's one of 7 endings. Alright, you guys, that was the end of this book, I guess. You leave in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you want to see the other endings, maybe I keep doing a couple parts of these, or maybe this is the only one. I don't know. It depends on what you guys think. You can let me know your feedback, and also while you're down there, you can check me out on Patreon, Twitter, and Twitch. I have links in the description out there. You can share, subscribe this video if people are looking for all the endings. This is the Forgotten Adventure ending. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and above all else, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.